Grace and peace, you guys. If you just found us over here from the premiere, we are actually watching the live stream of Jasmine Crockett's announcement for her Senate run. Pastor Freddie Haynes just left the stage with his melanated Marxist rant. And now I believe Jasmine Crockett is about to take the stage. So let's listen in.
Y'all look good.
Oh, there she goes.
Y'all look real good. But are you fired up? Are you ready to go? All right, Texas, let's get down to it. I know y'all are ready to hear some good news, and some of y'all already heard it before you even got here. Yes, it is true. I am running to become your next United States Senator from the state of Texas.
All right, you guys, she's made her announcement. She is running for Senate. I don't know if we should clap, right? I don't know what we should do, but let's give her an opportunity to explain. This is going to be interesting.
I understand that there's a responsibility. I'm not reading from my script, so they're about to be confused. There's a responsibility that lies with all of us, especially in this moment. There are a lot of people that said, you got to stay in the house. We need our voice. We need you there. And I understand. But what we need is for me to have a bigger voice. What we need is not only a voice, but we need to make sure that we are going to stop all the hell that is raining down on all of our people. So over the last couple of months, I've been thinking about our future. Where do we go from here? And obviously, I've been thinking about Texas. I thought about my classmates from law school. One is standing right up front, Mr. Anthony Farmer. I thought about the big dreams we all had, fighting for justice in the courtroom, starting our own businesses, buying a home, starting families. If you think about it, our dreams were the American dream. Opportunities for those who work hard, home ownership, jobs, entrepreneurship, and security. And that time, we were headed into the Great Recession. I took a job in East Texas for a pretty well-known family-owned law firm. I began doing class action defense work. And honestly, I wondered if I'd made a mistake. I wondered if that was really what I was supposed to be doing.
If you guys are just now joining us, we're actually streaming in live at the Jasmine Crockett Senate announcement. She has announced that she has filed the paperwork to run for Senate in the state of Texas. This is a statewide race. And I'll probably be providing commentary throughout so I don't get any sort of copyright strikes. Shout out to the super chat that has already come through. We'll go ahead and we'll get to those once she finishes her speech.
I loved being in the courtroom. You know, I never thought that I would run for office, but some people are able to inspire others as they walk their own path. As a 27-year-old public defender walking in her path, there was someone who came along and inspired me. There was this charismatic, funny, intelligent, and exciting young candidate with a funny name who just got into the U.S. Senate and was running for president. Many doubted if this country was ready, while others, well, we got to work and kept hope alive. We didn't focus on the naysayers. We didn't get distracted by any pollsters. We remained laser focused on getting the person who was best for the job into the seat. We didn't let history diminish our hope in what was possible. We ignored that the devil on our shoulder that sometimes tries to tell us your vote doesn't matter. The country's not ready. He can't win. And responded with that timeless American creed, yes, we can. Yes, I'm talking about President Barack Obama. How many no's do you think he heard before he got a yes? No, you can't win. No, the country's not ready for a black president. No, a black man can't get elected. No, your middle name is Hussein. No, you can't beat the Clinton machine. But every time they told him no, he looked them right in the eyes and he told them yes. He said, yes, we can. Yes, we can deliver on health care. Yes, we can enshrine equal rights. Yes, we can bring jobs back to America, create opportunities for all. And yes, we can save the economy after a Republican president.
Is anyone going to tell Jasmine Crockett that Obamacare has actually made things worse and we are experiencing the most adverse healthcare outcomes in history? That he made the economy worse and it took us forever to recover? And when she said for rights, she's referring to LGBTQ rights. You guys, she's dry snitching, and she is telling you she is a far left radical. She absolutely is a Marxist. And the fact that Barack Obama, she's giving this type of platform and elevation to someone who's incredibly unpopular in the Democrat Party tells you the lack of self-awareness. She is not reading the room. She is not reading the room.
We had to try. I knew that we had the power. He turned those no, you can'ts into yes, we cans. Yes, we deserve better. Yes, we will dig deep. Yes, we can. Back then, as the housing bubble burst and the economy crashed, I saw everyone around me struggling. I saw a system that ignored them and legal system that failed them. Then I remembered Obama's words. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. So many of you don't know, but I was 28 by now. And I decided that I was going to run to become the Bowie County Democratic Party chair. I was elected as the youngest Black Democratic Party chair in the history of Texas.
Don't they love the symbolism of being the first Black whatever? But it's not because of their merit. And then when they get in those positions, they actually do something meaningful to impact positive change for their community. But it's something about saying, I was the first Black, you know what? It's something about the insecurity and inferiority complex that I believe Black America still suffers from that makes us think that it's a flex. It demonstrates we've not assimilated to where we believe that we are electable on the basis of good ideas. So instead, we celebrate that we were electable because we were Black. Thought that was interesting.
I see people who believed in me before any viral moments. I see people who believed that I could and would be different. I see the people that locked arms with me. Some of those elected officials that went out on a limb and endorsed me when nobody else would. You see, I didn't get anywhere on my own. Every step of the way has been with you. The people who have fueled this fire. You've chipped in your hard-earned money. Hey, donors, because I see some of y'all too. You put in the sweat equity under the hot Texas sun, knocking on doors, putting out signs. You've driven your neighbors to the polls, dragged your coworkers to go vote. You're the ones who walk your precincts, register thousands of voters, and you're the ones who flip seats across the state at every level. When Texas turns blue, it won't be because of any one candidate, but because of each and every one of you doing your part.
I'm sorry, y'all. I had to pause it on that one. Did she say when Texas turns blue? My apologies, you guys. You guys know that I'm not used to doing live reaction, so I am going to pause it and then it'll catch up because this is live streamed. But that was funny. When Texas turns blue. It will be a cold day in hell before the great state of Texas turns blue. And you guys hear me clearly. I'm actually glad that Jasmine has thrown her hat in the race because we just need to prove once and for all that she doesn't have that crossover appeal. It's the confidence for me. You gotta give her an A for having top notch confidence. You gotta give it to her. Let's go ahead and continue. I'm so sorry, you guys.
Equity under the hot Texas sun, knocking on doors, putting out signs. You've driven your neighbors to the polls, dragged your coworkers to go vote. You're the ones who walk your precincts, register thousands of voters, and you're the ones who flip seats across the state at every level. When Texas turns blue, it won't be because of any one candidate, but because of each and every one of you doing your part.
If Texas turns blue, let me rephrase that. It'll have a lot to do with the illegal immigration element that Democrats are actively fighting against. You guys remember she is running for a statewide election in a red state that is a border state. And the way the Democrats are pushing back on illegal immigration, it's because I told you they need their new class of slaves. They need the immigrants as their electoral serfs. They need the bodies. This is about the nefarious ways that Democrats attempt to win elections by cheating in other non-traditional ways. And one of those ways is by opening up the floodgates to the illegal immigrant and giving the illegal immigrant the ability to cast a ballot. And they woo the illegal immigrant by giving them the free stuff. Don't miss that. And what's sad is to see a politician like a Jasmine Crockett convince Black people of open borders and being okay with illegal immigration when illegal immigration impacts the Black community the most is crazy work to me. But let's let her finish.
Turning Texas blue is what I want to talk to y'all about today. Now, there are those that say, ain't no way, we done tried it 50 kinds of ways.
Yes.
Let me be clear, y'all ain't never tried it the JC way.
She means the George Soros way. That's what she means.
We used to telling us what I can't do, but they have no idea what Crockett's crew will do. And so I just want to be clear, for all the haters in the back, listen up real loud. We gonna get this thing done.
Now, George Soros is going to help her get this thing done. George Soros' son, the two of them are thick as thieves, like peas in a pod. And she is coming with a whole lot of money in her coffers. But listen, I'm telling you what I know. They're willing to spend a whole lot of money on this race. But there will be some cheating. And I don't believe she's going to authentically win statewide. Don't believe it.
So they tell us that Texas is red. They are lying. We're not. The reality is that most Texans don't get out to vote. The reality is that the people that I used to work with in the Texas House did everything that they could to make sure that they could suppress voices. If we were so red, they wouldn't be so pressed. Let me be clear.
Who's pressed?
The reason that the governor always got time to call out my name is because he understands that I know how to speak to everybody.
No, he knows you are a whole headache and a whole problem. You are just a one chaotic ball of mess. The narcissism, you guys, is on 10. The inflated self-importance. She really thinks that Greg Abbott and all of the other high-ranking Republicans in the state call their name or calls her name because she's effective. That is not the reason.
Not just some folk.
She really thinks she has crossover appeal. She really thinks all of the rich white people who she's always accusing of being racist and homophobic and white supremacists are actually going to vote for her. The delusion, you guys. This woman is delusional. Sorry, let me catch it up. Hold on.
That they lived around. It came from everywhere. It came from the churches. It came from home healthcare workers.
Did we hear that part?
You've chipped in your hard-earned to the seat. We didn't let history diminish our lives with all of us.
Oh, gosh.
I joined it because I believed around 10 o'clock. Somehow somebody said, Rep, you only down. Well, I wasn't Rep then. You only down by. I say, y'all slow. Tell y'all who does. I do. To the government, of the people, by the people. I said, if anybody came through for me, and honestly, I can't blame them.
Y'all, I'm trying to find where we
But
left
because
off.
of each and every one of you doing your part. Turning Texas blue is what I want to talk to y'all about today. Now, there are those that say, ain't no way, we done tried it 50 kinds of ways. Let me be clear, y'all ain't never tried it the JC way. We used to telling us what I can't do.
Here it comes.
But they have no idea what Crockett's crew will do.
The ratchet tang energy is
So
coming out, y'all.
I just want to be clear for all the haters in the back. Listen up real loud. We gonna get this thing done. So they tell us that Texas is red. They are lying. We're not. The reality is that most Texans don't get out to vote. The reality is that the people that I used to work with in the Texas House did everything that they could to make sure that they could suppress voices. If we were so red, they wouldn't be so pressed. Let me be clear. The reason that the governor always got time to call out my name is because he understands that I know how to speak to everybody, not just some folk. There are folks who feel like their vote doesn't matter and that nothing will change or that candidates don't speak to them.
You don't.
And honestly, I can't blame them. But I'm here to address those Texans specifically who feel as their vote doesn't matter. Let me tell you it does. Earlier, I talked about my first race for state representative, and I talked about the fact that I was outspent 5-1. They had the money, but I had the people. When the first batch of votes came out, I was down by 700 votes. I told my team it was over. Carmen, who's right up front, rushes down and says, "No, we about to go to elections." I said, "Y'all, it's over. We've been voting for 3 weeks and we down by 700. We ain't coming back." Around 10 o'clock, somehow somebody said, "Rep, you only down." Well, I wasn't rep then. "You only down by 50 votes." I said, "Oh, we getting good. We getting good." I said, "Now y'all tell me what's still out. Is anything out? Are we done?" Because it was getting late. And they said, "MLK is still out." I said, "Oh." I said, if anybody came through for me, it was going to be MLK. And when I tell y'all, when the votes were counted, I had won by 90 votes. Out of 10,000 votes that were cast, I won by 90. It was the closest state house race in the entire state of Texas that year. Do you know where those votes came from? They came from the mom who organized the entire neighborhood to go vote because she knew I would fight like hell for her daughter. It came
for her daughter to get more abortions and not have children and be fruitful and multiply and decimate the black family. You know how it goes. Lord have mercy.
From the retired firefighter who talked to each and every one of his or her neighbors in the senior homes and the people that they lived around. It came from everywhere. It came from the churches. It came from home healthcare workers who ran across the street to vote at the library during their lunch break.
Take note of the churches. Take note of that, you guys. Remember, the Iron Triangle, the tandem consortium of the Democrat black preacher, the Democrat black civil rights worker, and the black Democrat politician. They all work hand in hand, using the black community to amass power and to indoctrinate them with Marxist thought. They've effectively created a subculture of melanated Marxists in America. This is what we are witnessing. Do not miss that.
It came from citizens who hadn't voted in years, but went to cast their ballots because they believed that I would bring a new generation of servant leadership to the government, of the people, by the people, for the people.
Or dead people. You know, they get dead people to vote.
Each and every one of those votes made up the 90 votes we needed to bring change. And I'm going to add this. It even came from unhoused folk. See, what y'all don't understand.
She talks just like a progressive. What is an unhoused folk? It's called homeless. Homeless, without a home. The cultural Marxist is dead set on weaponizing language and reimagining language in order to push you toward their worldview and their agenda. I absolutely hate that term, unhoused. What does that mean? So is an apartment dweller an unhoused person? Why do we have to? I know you guys think that is such a silly point of contention for me to hang my hat on, but it speaks to how they weaponize language and want to hijack your vernacular. Like if you say homeless, I'll never forget. I'm going to replay it. I did a debate at the Georgia State School of Law with a Marxist constitutional law professor and a third-year law student. And when I said homeless, half of the second and third year law students in the crowd that was listening to the debate gasped as if I said a cuss word. When I talked about homelessness in America and in blue cities, they were like, oh my gosh. They were so offended. Y'all, that is not normal. That is not normal. They've indoctrinated an entire generation to recoil at certain words. Homeless is now offensive. Unbelievable.
Understand is that people like to devalue certain people, but the only place that equalizes us is at the ballot box. So I don't ever want anybody, no matter what your socioeconomic background is, to believe that you don't matter or you don't count, because the time that you count is when you are at the ballot box.
You heard that?
A single grain of rice.
She tied your dignity, essence, and worth to the ballot box, which effectively ties your essence, dignity, and worth and value to government. Did y'all hear that? Like I was typing, trying to shout out to my homeboy in the live chat. Shout out to Mike Williams from White Label Consulting. If you are ever in need of someone to teach you how to be a YouTube streamer or how to be a YouTube concierge, White Label Consulting is the go-to guy. Great brother and friend of mine. But did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch what she said? As if you don't matter unless you cast a vote. Now, some people might say, April, you're reading into it. Basically, what she's saying is that if you don't vote, you don't have any representation and that your voice doesn't count or you don't matter. I'm telling you how the Marxist thinks. Their idea is government is God, and because the state reigns supreme, your dignity, essence, and worth is tied to the state. And if you don't vote, hear me, it's not like they ever encourage you to just go vote regardless. Just vote for somebody, doesn't matter. No, you've got to vote for Democrats. If you don't vote for Democrats, then you have no dignity, is essentially what she is saying.
Price can tip the scales. Every single vote counts, and that couldn't be truer in the United States Senate. It was a single vote in the United States Senate that saved the Affordable Care Act, that saved millions of Americans' health care coverage.
No, she's going to be a horrible politician, way worse than she already is. And it's because I wonder if you guys realize just how bad the ACA is. Yes, it has increased premiums. Yes, it was a form of socialized medicine that inserted millions and millions of people into a system, but didn't think about we still have the same amount of doctors and healthcare workers. And so effectively, the quality of care has been diminished on top of the fact that Barack Hussein Obama, the most wicked president ever known in history, was able to utilize the Affordable Care Act to bypass the Hyde Amendment to get Americans to pay for abortions without, he bypassed the Hyde Amendment and snuck it in there so that effectively federal dollars are used to fund abortions. That was one of the most diabolical things of the Obamacare Affordable Health Care Act, on top of the fact it has never been affordable. People were penalized for not wanting to buy into the useless system. And then all it did was provide socialized, it was a socialized money scheme, not for the American people, but for the insurance companies. Because whenever you subsidize healthcare, it's the insurance companies that get to name their price, because the government, regardless of what it is, will just pay it. So the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies are getting off like a fat rat. But Americans, our quality care has gone down. Our claim denials have gone up. And most of us are paying for a healthcare policy that we can barely use. And then when we really need to use it, it doesn't even come through for us like we needed to. Obamacare is not a flex. It's not. Her mentioning that, it sounds as if she is celebrating as if it was good, but everybody knows that healthcare is more expensive today than it's ever been, because we've taken the free market out of the equation. The free market is the great equalizer for all of this, and will introduce the proper level of competition to force these companies to compete so that prices can come down. God, she's brain dead.
That vote was cast by John McCain, who showed bravery and honored his oath of service. Yeah, clap it up.
A rhino.
He bucked his party's president to do what was right for his constituents. Sadly enough, we all know that Senator John Cornyn does not have the guts to stand up to Trump. But I can tell y'all who does. I do. Cornyn carries on with business as usual while small businesses across Texas take the hit from Trump's tariffs. Well, I'm done with politics as usual. I'm done with going along to get along, and it gets us nowhere. I'm done watching rural hospitals and public schools close their doors. I'm done watching parents be afraid to send their kids to school or the mall or the movies because Republicans have flooded our streets with guns. I'm done with the senators.
She can't be serious. She cannot be serious. Do you guys understand why a lot of these rural hospitals are closing? First of all, this is a multi-layered problem, but because of Obamacare and all of the healthcare subsidies, such as Medicaid and Medicare, it drives the prices of healthcare up for the people who are not receiving the government insurance, such as Medicaid and Medicare. And they'll basically say, we're only going to pay this percentage. And the hospitals are like, okay, well, we really, if this, let's say if out of 100% pie, 80% of the patients in a rural healthcare situation are all on Medicare. And the government is saying, or Medicaid, we can only pay this amount and that's it. And the hospital is saying, we can't operate with that amount. Eventually, that hospital will have to close because it won't be able to sustain itself. That's what happens. Schools closing has absolutely, I saw how she tried to imply that under Republican leadership that we're closing schools, but what she doesn't talk about is the fact that the Department of Education, they're putting money into these schools, but these schools are not performing and the kids are not learning at all. She didn't mention, though, how in like liberal cities such as Chicago, the influx of illegal immigrants, how that has overburdened the school system to where teachers are like, these kids don't speak English. How am I expected to teach them? And they don't know the language. So now we're experiencing a loss of learning by the students who were already struggling to learn anyway, because now we've got to figure out how to teach English speakers, Spanish speakers, and Lord knows how else many other kinds of speakers. It's just a whole mess. And then she also brought up that Republicans are putting guns on the street. That's amazing. How many evil white Republicans are in the city of Chicago or are in power there? Can somebody just give me a name? Name me the evil Republicans in these blue cities where the crime is concentrated the most. And I need her to prove and demonstrate how Republicans are putting guns on the street. Now, to be fair, in her state of Texas, I would argue that guns are on the street because most Texans keep Jesus in their heart and their 9mm on their hip, as they should. Absolutely. But the open border situation not only creates a drug problem, it also creates a crime problem because a lot of these weapons also come across the southern border along with the drugs and the gangs. Is she going to really have a conversation? She's trying to come for the Second Amendment because, like a good Democrat does, they believe the government is God and that they have to control your every move. You're not. You don't need a gun. We'll protect you. But what she doesn't tell you is that her soft on crime policies protect no one. Now, hear me clearly. I don't believe that it is the government's job to provide protection. Like I said in my previous video, it is the government's job to restrain lawlessness. I protect me. If somebody rolls up on this property to cause us harm, there are about 1,511 firearms in this house, and we can smoke them from every room available. Mark my word. You don't want those kinds of problems. And by the time the police get here, it's already handled. They came on the property, they trespassed. I felt in fear of my life. I took out the imminent threat. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I don't need you to protect me. I just need you to prosecute the crime and restrain the lawbreaker. If criminals knew that there was a consequence for their actions, i.e., they actually go to jail and they don't have to be arrested 72 times before the government steps in, people would commit less crimes. But when you have soft on crimes, policies and restorative justice and things like that, things that leftist progressives like a Jasmine Crockett advocates, crime spirals out of control and it skyrockets.
Sitting around doing nothing while Trump takes your hard-earned money, skims your Social Security, slashes Medicare, and gives tax breaks to billionaires.
Who's skimming Social Security? Social Security is almost insolvent because of the out-of-control spending by the left. Trump is the only one interested in making sure that our seniors actually have Social Security money in the Social Security fund and that it's there and available for their use because they paid into it. But it will be insolvent if we don't get a control of this spending, if we don't have audits like Doge, if we don't stop all of this USAID splurge. I call it the politician slush fund, because them and all of their friends and their cronies with these NGOs make up these make-believe organizations and they steal money from the American people. She's full of she's full of it. A crock pile of boo-boo. She's full of it.
I'm done.
I'm
done watching the American dream on life support while Trump tries to pull the plug. The gloves have been off, and now I'm jumping into the ring. I'm asking for your...
And you about to get a butt whipping of you ain't seen nothing. Texas ain't going for this. I know Texas. The great state of Texas, if they are one thing, they are some gun-toting, Jesus-loving people. Okay, even if it is in name only, they're not. She doesn't appeal. None of her policies appeal to what the vast majority of Americans want. Jasmine appeals to the 92% of Black women who vote against their own interests, who are single and childless and need the government's protection to swoop in and take care of them. She doesn't appeal to the vast majority of the rest of America. Dallas County, in terms of the city, and Houston does not represent the rest of Texas. On the prairie. Are you kidding me? No, they're not voting for this. No.
Support to be the next United States Senator from the greatest state of Texas. Because I don't ever lose focus of the people and what we deserve. We deserve a government that is by the people and of the people, not one that's bought and paid for, not politicians who are self-serving and lying their own.
She's literally describing herself. She is bought and paid for by George Soros. She's done nothing but enrich herself the entire time she's been in office. She's barely in her office. She's barely available to meet with her constituents. In terms of meaningful legislation that's done any positive for the district she represents, she has no results. What made her think that after this short little stint in the House as a congresswoman, that she could run for Senate and have widespread appeal and actually win? You know, y'all, I'm excited. I know I look like I'm not. I'm actually excited because that means this midterm race is going to be chock full of content. Oh, we're going to have so much fun over here, debunking her lies, pointing out her inconsistencies, showing how Trump deranged she really is. I am here for the 2026 crash out of Jasmine Mophead Muppet Crockett. I'm ready for it. Y'all, let's go.
On pockets, most of you know that I am a civil rights and criminal defense attorney, that I made a living arguing cases before juries and fighting for Texas who were harmed to receive justice. I have won cases and convinced juries in the deepest, reddest parts of this state, and I'm ready to make the case to the people of the great state of Texas. My experience spans both state and federal. As you may have seen, I have spent more time on the federal level than I did on the state level. And frankly, I'm very well aware of what is happening on the federal level, on the deepest levels of the federal level. If elected to the Senate, actually win. I was about to say, y'all slow. I will begin on day one fighting to lower costs, deliver on health care, make home ownership and entrepreneurship accessible to all, and hold Trump accountable.
Child, please. Shout out to LeBron. LeBron carried a purse. I remember that. I think I still have that meme saved in my phone. LeBron says, "My people, especially Black women, will still vote for her and sing 'We Shall Overcome' as they cast their vote." LeBron, you are so right. They absolutely will. Hey, I'm telling you, this is what I know. You guys, I'm middle-aged. Like, I'm not old, but I'm not a spring chicken either. And for all of the years that I have spent on this earth, here is one thing that I have learned. I know what my life was like when I was single, uncovered, just not in any meaningful, committed relationship where I had the leadership of a man who actually loved me and could look out for me. Like, I know what life was like back then. And it's funny because my husband and I joke about it all the time. We laugh about how when he met me, right? Yeah, I'm laughing. Let me tell this story. Okay, let me tell it. I had this 1996 Toyota Camry. And y'all know Toyota Camrys will last forever. That is a good car. Well, when you're single and you're out just living life on your own, God really does take care of babies and fools, because and I was a fool, and the Lord was taking care of me. I don't know how I made it before. I thought I was living and thriving and living my best life, but honey, listen, no. When my husband, when he met me, and I had the 1996 Camry, I bought it and it had problems. I wanted the car so bad that I didn't allow a mechanic to check it. And I was down here by myself. There was no man around to be like, "Hey, I'm not going to let, you can't buy this. It's too expensive and you don't know what you're doing. Let's pick something else." I bought the car and I hadn't even had that car like 30 days. And it was smoke, like this puff, this puff of gray smoke out the exhaust if I would sit at a red light and then accelerate to go, I mean, I was literally, you talking about I would leave you in the dust. It looked like it was a cloud of dust. So he meets me, and one day when I went to see him and then I drove off, I could see in my rear view mirror, he's like coughing and gagging, and he's like, Lord have mercy. What the heck is going on with your car? And I was like, oh, it just does that. He was like, yeah, because there's something wrong. And I was like, well, I mean, I don't know what's wrong. And it gets me to work and I go where I want. Like, y'all, I was literally living life. I wasn't oblivious to the smoke, but it is what it is. So one day he was like, listen, I know you think you got this under control, but you can't drive that car. You drive my car to work. Let's just swap. He was like, listen, I will take I will take the arrows and the blue blazing car that leaves the puff of smoke. I will drive it. And I was excited to accept that because at the time he had the big body Lexus like that GS. What was it? The G is it the 300? What do you call it? It wasn't the LS. It was it the GS? I think it was the GS. Anyway, it was that pearl white with the pretty nice leather interior. And I was like, yes, I'm a drive to work in this. So I started driving that car. And it was weird because when he started driving that car, it would always break down on him. And he would always have to call his coworker. And it got to the point they already knew. They were like, let me guess. You broke down on the side of the road. What exit? Where you at? All right, I'm coming. And they would pick them up. And I said all that to say that we have a lot of women that are just out in the world living life clueless. They really don't know what they don't know because so many times, so many of us are so prideful that when a man comes along to try to impart some sense and to help us to step back and look at something logically, we get in our feelings. So that 92% that is absolutely supporting Jasmine, they are those women. There's like a profile of them. Not all of them are single. A lot of them may be with someone, but they are absolutely the over dominating type in that relationship. The man that they're probably with probably knows like her the way this chick vote just makes no sense. But to keep the peace and to avoid an argument, most of these men probably on the emasculated side of the spectrum don't say anything at all. They kind of just let them hang themselves. This is part of the problem why the Black community overwhelmingly votes against its own interests. It, the majority, some of our men are the problem, but they are not the majority of the problem. It's the 92% of women. And we know this because in this last election, we had a huge percentage of Black men jump ship because they saw without the emotion, they just used logic and reason. And they just examined what was happening. They're like, wait a minute, it's been these jokers the whole time. It ain't him, it's them. But Black women are so blind, and because they have this characteristically unsubmissive way about how they move in the world, you can't tell them nothing. So they really think that because they are making money and they have a nice car and they're on the home and they are holding everything down, they don't realize that their life is still in shambles because they make bad decisions, especially political ones. That's your 92%. That is the commentary that I wanted to provide to you, LeBron, because you are absolutely right. And he also said, Bathhouse Berry. Yeah. Oh, she's a part of the Equality Caucus. You guys, the Equality Caucus is the consortium of Black Democrats within the, well, no. The Equality Caucus is the LGBT equivalent of the Black Congressional Caucus. It's the caucus of politicians that specifically support the Rainbow Mafia. She's in the Black Congressional Caucus, and she's a member of the Equality Caucus. Now, why would a Black female be pro LGBTQ when the Black family is in shambles? How is that going to help Black families flourish when same gender loving individuals can't procreate and form healthy families. But this is the policy she supports, and her pastor knows it because he supports it too. He's a melanated Marxist just like she is. P. Shane, thank you so much for your super chat. Says Democrat subsidize taxpayers' money. Absolutely. I agree. So let's let Crash Out finish. Let's let her finish.
I'll hit the ground running because I'm already in the belly of the beast right now. Many people wonder why I jumped in this race so late, and I just want to be clear that this was never my intention. This was never about me. I never.
It's always been about you.
Any of the polls.
We see. Oh, she's about to cry. Oh, is she about to cry? Oh, listen, poor thing.
My question was, which congressional seat would I be running for? And for Texas 30,
that should have remained the question.
I love you, Texas 30. Okay.
Why? Why does she love Texas 30? That's an interesting question. Is it because it was an easy win, like she was a shoo-in, and the thought of having to go and run on merit, on your record in another district was too much like losing? I mean, check her records. She's an unproductive, ineffective legislator. And so her thing is, let me see. How much havoc and chaos can I cause to be a distraction and use George Soros's money to just attempt to sway public opinion? Because they're going to come out with some mess, whoever her Republican challenger is. But I've also just heard that the safe Democrat, Colin Allred, he dropped out. He's not even going to run, even though he probably was the safer option. She was beating all of the Democrat individuals who were considering running for this Senate seat. She was beating them in the primary with 33% of the vote. But let's see what she's crying about.
Finish. But the more I saw the poll results, I couldn't ignore the trends, which were clear, both as it relates to the primary as well as the general election. I could have played it safe and continued serving in the United States House of Representatives for as long as my constituents would have me.
But you got drawn out.
I don't choose to do that. Because Texas, this moment we're in now, is life or death.
Why is it always life or death with them? The fear mongering. Let me grab this super chat. Oh, my host demonetized, sir. That's a funny name. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to ask the context of your YouTube channel, which is, I'm grateful, and we're going to read this about the joke. He said, what you are explaining with these women is called recalcitrance, April. Now I can't even talk. Recalcitrance. Yes. I agree. It's bad because all my hosts demonetized. How do you build a family like that with such polarity? Such an illogical doubling down on, I must do it this way. And even though I don't have a proven track record of results, I want to do it. Let me do it anyway. Like, we don't have a proven track record of results of Black matriarchal rule. There's no civilization that has ever been studied to show that having Black women overwhelmingly in charge without male headship or protection or provision produces favorable outcomes. And then we have our own in-house domestic U.S. Black American experiment. of what over 50 years of matriarchal squalor yields. It yields high crime, children who are below the 8 ball and at the bottom of every category academically. And then it breeds more matriarchal madness because the children, particularly the boys who are raised like this, are effeminized and emasculated. So that feeds the Rainbow Coalition. And while the numbers in our community are astronomically high, there are so many unintended consequences of the divide and the division that's present in Black communities that everyone likes to blame, oh, it's just the women or oh, it's just the men. But on some level, one of these sides are going to have to concede. And I don't believe it needs to be the men, because men are responding to the foolishness that we are putting out there. Men will adjust. Trust me, they will adjust. And I don't think we recognize how influential we can be when we use our power in the right way. Right now, our influence and our power is being used to promote all manner of wickedness. And we are not better off for it. We are half the women of our predecessors that they used to be. Granted, they had problems too, but at least they knew how to raise a generation of children to be productive citizens. Now, our women are raising our children to be perpetual victims, to be entitled, to believe that they are the center of the universe. And those types of children cannot go out into a dog-eat-dog world and compete on any level without being a bunch of fragile, entitled, I don't even know what I would call them. Fragile, entitled, underachievers. Always expecting the bar to be lowered. Because if it's not our hair, it's our mental health. If it's not our mental health, then it's, oh, our weight, we're fat, and it's not our fault. Listen, I know exactly why I'm way more chubbier than I should be. And some of it is my fault. Now, some of it is hormonal, but a huge majority of it is my fault. I got to own it. I was going to say I got to eat it, but that's the problem. It's because I've been eating it. So I think I should say I've got to stop eating it. That's what I will say. Let me let her finish. We're almost done, I think.
It's all or nothing. It's now or never. We find ourselves at a crossroads. We're faced with a hard choice to make people believe. We've got to make sure that they understand that we are not to go back. We are not to allow our hard-earned progress of our foremothers to be wiped away. We lose Social Security, Medicare. We lose the right to vote, to love, and live.
How are you going to lose the right to vote? It's in the Constitution by way of an amendment. How are you going to lose the right to vote? This is just nonsensical, emotional drivel at this point. How is that going to happen? Who's doing that? Where is there this widespread attempt to prevent American citizens from voting? Y'all know what she's really saying, right? What she's really saying is illegal immigrants, preventing them, not giving them the right to vote as if they have it, and they don't. That's what she really means.
Freely. That's one path where we go back in time. The other path is learning to live in Trump's America and shrinking ourselves into the shadows.
Oh, God. See? Get to be the center of everything. Sinking into the shadows? Why? Because you don't get your way? Your party is not in power. This is how it happens in cycles. Sometimes the Republicans are in power. Sometimes the Democrats are in power. It's called win an election and then you lose an election. That is how it works. You don't get to throw a temper tantrum because you don't like it. We had to eat it when you had that sock puppet of a person in office with the auto pen. We didn't like that either. But we realized, okay, another election, Lord willing, is going to come and we'll be able to vote this fool out. And then instead, we didn't get to vote him out. We got Kamala, but we got to vote her out. But that's how it works. That's how it works.
Like people who are afraid to worship or love freely because people are simply right now afraid to walk down the streets.
Oh, girl, stop. Did you hear what she said? People are afraid because they're not free to worship. She talked about Muslims, which is not true, or free to love. Y'all know what she's talking about there. The spectrum, the rainbow people. No one has stopped anybody from engaging in all manner of sodomy and sexual perversion. You are free to do that. What we don't want is you pushing your freak nasty diddy-crat agenda down our throats. We don't want that. I don't want my children exposed to your nastiness in the school system, at the library. I can't even take my kids to a public library and allow them to look at books in the teen section by themselves because of all the freak nasty literature that are on the shelves. I got to provide supervision and oversight over that. My kids don't even go to public school. They're home with me. But when they're like, Mommy, want to go to the library? Like, I got to wrap my mind around it. And I'm looking at the nastiness on the shelves. It's disgusting. So when she talks about, people not free to love who they love, she's talking about the widespread acceptance of the sodomite tribe. I'm sorry, you're never going to get me to accept that. I respect all Americans as image bearers, but nobody is infringing upon your right to do what you do in a dookie shoot in the privacy of your own home. What we are talking about is we don't want it in the school system. You don't need to be a protected class where you have special rights. And you darn sure did not have the right to redefine marriage. After all through antiquity, it's always been understood that marriage is a union between a one man and one woman. And now we done reimagined that too. This leftist progressivism, I never thought I would see the day where Black women would be advocating harder for the rights of their trans counterparts who mimic and pretend to be just like them, that they would be putting the needs of the trans person ahead of their own. To where now, ask, what is a woman? Well, I mean, it's transitory. It just kind of depends on how you want to define woman. Never thought I'd see the day where we'd be competing with biological men for space in the bathroom, in the locker room. You get to walk in there and see a whole appendage just out. It's clown town. Texas is not going to vote for this, but I am here for this midterm showdown. Let the games commence. Let them begin.
It looks like a country facing denial. Bank loan denied. Healthcare denied. American dream denied. But I'm here to tell you there is a third path, a path where we move forward as one people united under a common vision, a path where we reject Trump's false promises and reject his lies and division.
No, we're getting what we voted for. Oh, I know. There are no false promises. He promised to seal the border. He has done that. We asked for that. We promised for him to make our enemies who've been taking advantage of our import-export system to make them pay their fair share. He has promised and delivered on that. He is absolutely dealing with the immigration problem and the crime issue, he has to deal with it on a macro level and a micro level because you dumb dingbats in office in your own blue cities can't maintain law and order. You can't do it. We are actively working for the dismantling of the Department of Education so that parents have ownership and choice to educate their children as they see fit. Well, technically it's got to come back to the states, but we absolutely asked. We asked for so many things, and he is delivering on those promises. We wanted peace. We're like, Pimpin', we need you to go in and broker peace with these nuts because all they want to do is fight. We're having peace deals. We're having Christian persecution being stopped because y'all sure don't give a darn about Christian persecution. Oh, but you'll protect the Muslim Brotherhood and fund their terrorism. We wanted the waste, fraud, and abuse stopped. Trump is doing all of that and more. But this fear-mongering right here, this brain-dead dingbat, I'm so excited. Please run. Please run. I need to know who's going to be her Republican challenger. I need to get him or her on the show. And we need to explain, listen, you got to be a throat cutter when it comes to this Jasmine Crockett. You need to know your policies. You need to be able to deliver strongly and effectively. And don't let her sun you. Because her level of aggression, she will try to dominate the conversation and sun her opponent, or she will avoid debating her opponent altogether. Because for the self-centered narcissist, they've got to have the crowd, and they can't be in a position where they can't manipulate and control the situation, and they got to have their flying monkeys with them. And so this is going to be fun. Oh, this is going to be exciting. Are you guys excited? Put a 1 in the chat if you are excited to see how this race is going to end. How the months and months and months of Jasmine Crockett crashing out here, making a fool of herself. Now all of that is going to be replayed on a national scale as she competes to run for this Senate seat. Her Senate finance campaign disclosures, they're going to go through that with a fine-tooth comb. They're going to find something. Former employees and staff people will probably talk and do TikToks. We don't know how nasty this is going to get, but it's going to be exciting.
I'm asking you to walk down this path with me, shoulder to shoulder, and envision a Texas where every child, no matter their story, can go to the best public schools, can afford to go to college or learn a skilled trade. A Texas where that child has every opportunity to grow and thrive. That means nutrition, healthcare, mental health, and safety. Imagine a Texas where that child grows up and can buy a home with first-time home buyers assistance.
See, are you listening to her wish list of big government as provider? Healthcare, childcare, pay free college. This is her soft socialism cell. This is Zohran Mamdani in a mop head Muppet wig. She is literally the black AOC. That's what we are witnessing, you guys. Did y'all hear the wish list of big government free stuff? I heard it. I'm missing something. One of my monitors crashed. I don't know what happened. Let me pull it back up. Here we go. Can y'all see it? Hold on. Let's see if it'll No? Where'd you go? Y'all give me a second. Let me try to reshare this screen again. There we go. Whew, sorry about that. That's the wish list. That is the free, give us free for all of the individuals who do not understand the proper role of government. That is the free wish list of all the things that she believes are going to help her win. Now, hear me clearly. We are in a housing crisis where individuals are unable to afford a home. Y'all bought my first house when I was 25 years old. I paid like 85 or $88,000 for it. Those days are over. I was just working a regular 9-to-5 job as a 25-year-old with some ambition, and I was just about to start and open up my own insurance agency, and I wasn't making nowhere near six figures. I don't even think, how much was I making when I bought that townhouse? I may have been making $32,000 a year. I don't even think I was making that much. It may have been, it was either 28 or 30, but it wasn't 32. Because I remember I switched jobs and got a promotion. When I hit 32,000, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was doing it. Okay. Bought my first house. My children, by the time they're 25, Lord willing, I would love for them to be able to do that. But the way things are set up now, it is unaffordable. It is unaffordable. And that's a very real challenge. But the answer to that is not government subsidy. The answer to that is we need to bring in revenue, and we need to increase production and create things that other people want to buy. And then force those overseas who want our stuff. Oh, you're going to pay for it. But we need to create industries here. We need a Federal Reserve that's actually going to lower interest rates, and the cost of doing business and borrowing money, that bar needs to be lowered. And then all the Green New Deal regulation, that is also part of the problem. All of these far left progressive Democrats love big government overreach. And because of the climate hoax and the climate crisis that they want us to believe that, like, for example, I heard Mamdani say that there will be no use of fossil fuels. So I don't understand how he intends to expand and build new housing without using fossil fuel. And I don't understand how he expects to heat during the cold winters in New York City without fossil fuel. And I heard him say that the reason why he refuses to use fossil fuel because of the climate crisis that we are in. Can somebody tell me, what is the climate crisis that we're in? Articulate the imminent threat that we are actively experiencing from a climate crisis. Is anyone in the chat going to be able to explain that to me? Can y'all help me? Yes, absolutely. We need a new Fed chair. Come on, Netta Bay. Ask Crockett, what did she do about housing in her district? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Shout out to you, JJ. Thank you so much for that super chat. You were right. Absolutely nothing. Good gracious, Lord, is she finished yet? Let's go back and see what she's saying.
Imagine that child wants to start a business and create jobs in their community they live in Texas, where they can actually access some capital to get started. Now contrast that to our reality today, where a child's opportunities are limited by their zip codes. I think about the children in
How is a child's opportunity limited by their zip code? Are we not allowed freedom of movement? Like we can't move? I mean, because I grew up in the hood, in the Bronx, and I didn't live in a prosperous zip code at all. And I went to school, and based on merit, I achieved, and then went to a better school, and then got a scholarship. Like, how are opportunities limited by zip code? It's almost as if she is saying people in certain zip codes don't have the mental capacity to strive or to aspire to do better or be better. And based on your zip code, you need the government to help you because you can't do it on your own. It's the low expectations for me. That low level, underachieving, I'm a victim mentality.
Houston, who had their school district taken over by Abbott. I think about the children in Lufkin who went hungry this summer after Republicans cut funding for summer EBT. I think about the young adults and families in Amarillo.
Wait, is she referring to when the Democrats refused to vote to open up the government to fund EBT? Did she do a bait and switch there? Is that what she tried to do? We can have a conversation about childhood hunger, but that conversation needs to be broached in a broader discussion about abuse of government subsidies, i.e., the SNAP program. How y'all gave a lot of these blue cities gave a lot of their SNAP money away to illegals, made their funds insolvent, and then got mad when the Republicans wouldn't give them more money. And the government the federal government is like, well, what happened to your budget? The truth came out. They were giving their money, their SNAP money that was already allocated. They gave it to illegals and then wanted the federal government to come in to pick up the slack. And Republicans were like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Welfare and food stamps are supposed to be a bridge, like to get you from here to there, and then the bridge ends, and then you walk on dry land by yourself. It is not a way of life. It is not the way you are supposed to live in perpetuity. It creates a handicap and a dependent class. It absolutely does. Because it's no different than your kids who go in the refrigerator. They don't know how much things cost. All they know is when I go in there, what I want is available and it's provided to me. I didn't have to pay for it. I didn't have to work for it. So I'll eat it. I'll take a bite out of one apple. Then I'll put it on the counter and let it turn brown and then throw it out. It has no value to them. But the best way to turn your child away from liberalism and toward conservative values, take them to the grocery store. Give them an allowance and then take them to the grocery store and say, okay, all the snacks that you want and the things you like to eat, here's how much money you have. Go and buy it and see how frugal they become. Honey, listen, my 15-year-old is one of probably the most independent of all of our children. And he's the most enterprising because he actually works for my company and he makes his own money. And he loves sending me a text to tell me the things that we are out of. Or he'll say, when you go to the grocery store, I'd like to go. Fine. Come on, son. Let's go to the grocery store. And he's putting stuff in the cart. I mean, cookies and cream, his tortilla chips, all the little Mexican. I don't think he's probably gonna marry a Latina. This boy's obsessed with Mexican food. And then I'm like, okay, well, you're paying for this. I just came to get some bread and milk. And they're scanning, and the sweat coming from that boy's brow when he keeps seeing the tally go up and up. And he tells the lady, well, he started taking stuff off. Yeah, I didn't really need this. And this is just too expensive. Yeah, because it's his money. It's the same way with food stamps. It is a bridge to help those. You're in between jobs. You've fallen on your luck. You just had a baby and you're trying to find your way in the world. You just need a little help to get to the next step. It cannot be a way of life. It cannot be generational. And what we are finding is waste, fraud, and abuse and exploitation from that system. But she wants to talk about how it's Republicans that kept free lunches away from school-age kids without giving you the whole story as to how we got here. And the reason why the state of Texas, as well as many other states in certain cities, they ran out of money because they were giving all of their money to the illegals. People who've not paid into the system, who are not citizens here. Is anyone going to ask, why are they so philanthropic and humanitarian toward the illegal immigrant? It's because they don't give a darn about those illegals. What they care about are the bodies who are going to cast ballots for them because they've given them and rolled out the red carpet and gave them the free stuff. That's what this is about. While American families are struggling when we're at the grocery store, like, ooh, like, listen, that Biden gas was high. It was high. The inflation was out of control. things are starting to cool off, but we're not going to even realize the vast majority of what Trump has been able to accomplish economically. We're really not going to see the fruit of that until 2026, where things are going to start to improve a little bit. But I can tell you there is a glimpse that things are improving, because the amount of money people spent on Black Friday and the amount of retail sales in this Christmas season, it's record breaking, out of control. Somewhere people are finding the money from somewhere. Somebody is spending money on something.
That would love to buy their own home but can't afford it. I think about the farmer in Loving County who had to find his way to the nearest hospital miles and miles away because Texas has closed more rural hospitals than any other state.
And she doesn't explain why.
And by the way, if you know farmers, it takes quite a lot before they'll even think about going to the doctor. So I know this. This man was in pain, and his pain was ignored and neglected by 3 decades of Republican domination in Texas. And I'm going to keep taking down this path with me. But let's first address the elephant in the room, quite literally. I know many of you are wondering why I'm running for a seat that everyone says cannot be won.
Yes, we all want to know.
The last time Texas elected a Democrat to the United States Senate, I was 7 years old. Do not try to do the math. Cornyn was already 36 and serving as a district judge. For most of us, a Republican-controlled Texas is all we've known. But we cannot let that diminish our faith and belief in what can be. I stand before you because I'm not looking backwards in the past. My eyes are fully ahead and fixed on the bright horizon ahead of us. I'm running for this seat because I'm going to be hung up on the brokenness. I'm not going to be hung up on the brokenness of the past. I'm focused on fixing up our future. Many people have asked, and all of us wonder, can we win this race in November? I'm here to say, no. Yes, we can. I'm also here to say it's not if we can, but if we will. If we will get out and knock the doors, call the people, and meet them where they are. It's a matter of if we will do the work to have the necessary conversations about the future of our nation. Will we come together as one? This isn't about me or them. It's about you and us. This is not about ambition. It's not about my ambition. It's about yours. Your hopes and your dreams, and a government that has your back, not pushes you back. No Democrat has done what we're seeking to do, and that is win a statewide election in Texas in the 21st century.
Lord have mercy. So what can be unburdened by what has been? Yes. Listen, I applaud the effort, the confidence that she has in herself, but the math does not math. Even by her own admission, she does not have crossover appeal. Republicans are not going to vote for her. Independents are not going to vote for her. And even amongst Democrats, she is not that favorable. So we will see. This is a very expensive race. She knows how to raise some money. I mean, Alex Soros is like the bestie. So she's gonna be well funded, and you'll see a whole lot of social media ads. I mean, the ad spend is gonna be ridiculous. I don't know who her Republican challenger is going to be. I haven't looked into it, but she's absolutely fumbling over them lies. I agree. I absolutely agree. She's very inauthentic and self-serving. And if anything, even though I believe she knows she's going to lose, this is going to catapult her into more visibility and prominence to build her platform and her life after this Senate loss. So she'll start a podcast or something. She might get cast to be on The View. I mean, there are going to be all sorts of leftist opportunities for her. Maybe she'll even get a show on CNN or MSN Now, BSDC, or whatever it's calling itself. But it's absolutely opportunistic and a waste of money, but it does make for good politics. So I'm not interested in hearing the rest of this. I think I've managed to cover a lot of her talking points to provide value for you guys so that you understand what we're dealing with this, a ratchet tag moped muppet and the disingenuous nature that she engages in politics, how she doesn't accept accountability when she's called out on her BS. She's very good at spinning the narratives. But we also need to keep an eye out since she is running for Senate. I do believe, and I need to check to see if her pastor, Freddie Hayes, is going to run for that Texas 30 district Senate seat. That is also going to be interesting. I think that would be a huge disaster. And if you think Jasmine Crockett was bad in that district, Freddie Haynes will be worse. So you need to pay attention to that. There is a huge influx of Californians in Texas who, sadly, many of them bring their liberalism with them. But I don't know if are there enough of those transplants in Texas to sway the vote to turn the Senate blue with this seat in this race? I don't know. I really don't know. But here we go. Hi, Crimson 5878. She says, greetings and good evening, my kind sister. Facts 100. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that super chat. I appreciate you stopping by this evening. I'm hopeful and encouraged. I think this is going to be an entertaining race. Jasmine Crockett never disappoints in the entertainment factor. She does have some pretty good clapbacks. Her grandstanding on the House floor has given us a little insight as to what we can expect from her on the campaign trail. But I'll be watching this race very, very closely. And I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. It was an impromptu live stream because literally, y'all, I had just recorded the video of announcing that today she was going to announce it. And I didn't realize that her live stream was queued up. And I was like, oh, snap, my video is going to be old and obsolete because I'm too slow. So I said, well, what better? Take advantage of the fact that they have live streamed the announcement. And then after that premiere ended, I decided to react to her speech. So here's the deal. The video that I released earlier, even though it's simply announcing that today was the day she was going to announce, there is still value in that video because what I do is I break down the trifecta of oppression on the Democrat Party side, and that's the Iron Triangle. So if you're new here and you've not been introduced to my colleague and my friend and my client, Vince Everett Ellison, check out the Vince Everett Ellison show. You will absolutely love his content. But he has a book that he has written entitled The Iron Triangle. And this book, when I tell you it'll change your life, I can't tell you how many nights I read that book and I would just chuck it across the room. Because it was so much truth and it was so eye-opening for me that it made me mad. It made me mad that I did not connect the dots to see how the Black Democrat preacher and the Black Democrat politicians and the Black Democrat civil rights worker are the three lone bastions of oppression that keep progress, genuine progress and uplift in the Black community. He spells out and gives an amazing apologetic on exactly how they do it, how they work together, the narratives that they spin, how they don't want to use the word steal elections, but how they sway elections, how they utilize the church under the guise of Christianity to infiltrate, to teach cultural Marxism, and to keep Black people beholden to Democrats without ever seeing any measurable or positive results. You've got to read the book. If you go to Amazon, As a matter of fact, I'm going to grab the link to the book right now. Listen, if you don't read anything else, you got to read this book. Hold on. It's called The Iron Triangle by Vince Everett Ellison. I'm going to drop the link below. Here it is. Absolute masterpiece. Absolute masterpiece. Let me get this link. I think I got it. Drop it right here. Drop it like it's hot, because it is. Did it do something? It did not. This is a must read. If you have a learning curve and you're new to this concept, or you're like, okay, I kind of see it, but I need to see how they kind of work in tandem with one another, The Iron Triangle, the book, is for you. You need to get that. So anyway, thank you. Well, I'm saying thank you to myself, and I'm the one that, Lord have mercy. Y'all, it's time to dip. It is 7:55 Eastern Standard Time. Let's go over some quick announcements. Next week, first of all, next week, you guys, is the Turning Point USA AmFest. And AmFest, if you've never been, I wish I could invite you and tell you to come, but it's sold out and you can't. It is their annual conference, and it was Charlie Kirk's like breakout debut event. And it's taking place next week in Phoenix, Arizona. And I will be there, and I will be taking you guys with me. You guys are always in my heart, but when I say I'm taking y'all with me, I am going to be doing content to keep you abreast as to what's going on. And there's some amazing things that are happening. Some of you may have seen me post on Facebook about the advent of Turning Point USA's newest initiative and division called TPUSA Rise. And it is the new minority engagement division of Turning Point USA. And I knew that this was on the horizon. And I was so glad to see what the future of what this initiative would look like. And so I had an amazing time participating in just helping launch this in a way that was going to be exciting and pointing to the future as we disavow the past. And so let me just read you guys this quick little blurb. No, this video is not sponsored. Okay. I'm just trying to give my audience an announcement so you guys will know what's going on. But TPUSA Rise is a brand new department under Turning Point USA. And it represents an expansion of the work that we've already built in Black America. But here's the difference, you guys. It expands into other minority communities. So that would include your Hispanics and your Asians and your Indians. I mean, listen, Turning Point has always been for everybody, but now the red carpet is being rolled out so that all of these subcultures within America that make America great, we now have an outreach and an initiative for all of them as well. So it says everything we did over the years created this huge network, strong chapters, and a real community of people who care about faith, family, and freedom. Let me just stop right there, because if you guys know anything about me, those are the pillars on which I stand on, and the very things that I advocate on this channel. I talk about my faith freely, right? My family is the cornerstone of all of the decisions that I make, and they are my why. I'm always encouraging women to focus and build families. Why? Healthy families create healthy societies. And so I'm all about the family and the restoration of family. And then freedom. I talk about freedom and liberty a lot. I'm always encouraging you guys to function in your freedom. And it's not something that the government gives you, but it's something that you assert. You assert your freedom, and then you protect it. Thus, the reason why I'm always talking about Jesus in my heart, my mind, and my hip. So, with that, it says that momentum is what allowed Rise to even exist. We're not running multiple minority outreach programs at the same time. So, of course, right now, here's the deal. if you go to Blexic.com, it points to TPUSA Rise. This URL directs people to where the mission is happening right now and where the future of this work lives. So remember when I said I'm focused on the future and I'm uninterested in dwelling in the past? That is exactly what I mean. It's a new day, y'all. It's a new day. We have so much work to do at the grassroots level that we ain't got time to wallow in what has been. Okay? And I don't want to sound like Kamala, but we really don't have time to be burdened by the past. We just really don't. There were things that were near and dear to Charlie Kirk, and there will never be another Charlie Kirk. But what Charlie Kirk was able to do was galvanize people around a shareable narrative, which is faith, family, and freedom. And so I'm pleased to be a small little part of that mission, instead of wallowing in the gutter about, or should I say, with all of the foolishness and the low value, untransformative content. I'd rather do something important and meaningful and move forward to make sure that his legacy doesn't die, and that the people who look like me and the ones that don't, how we can all share in that work together and make change for the better. I ain't got time to wallow in the shallow or the silly. I just don't. So I'm excited about TPUSA Rise. There was a soft launch earlier this week where the website became active, but officially, the launch is going to be happening at AmFest during the AmFest conference. So, if you ask whether Blexic still exists or if it's dead, here's what you guys need to know. Blexic was a part of the groundwork. Okay? You start something kind of like when we look at scripture and we look at the fact that the church, and this is an analogy, it is not, I'm using this as an example just to help you understand what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that this organization is the church. Here's what I'm saying. The foundation of the church, the people of God, was built on the foundation of the prophets and the apostles. And you build a foundation and it's laid, and then everything else is built on top of that. Blexic was a nice foundation, but you build a foundation once, and then you build and you move on. That's what's happening. And it's a good thing. It is a positive thing. And I'm looking forward to what lies ahead because the future looks bright. Okay. So, that foundation that kind of included Black America, it's now expanding, and it's just the reach is more expansive, and I'm just excited. I don't hold a leadership position or anything like that. This is just a mission that I am willing to put my name behind because I loved Charlie Kirk and I absolutely supported the work of that mission. And so that's where I am. Anyone that doesn't like it, come fight me because I really don't care. But this is what it is, and this is where we are. And the future looks bright. We're not wallowing, okay, in the shame of the past. We are looking to brighter days, and 2026 is going to be amazing. So, with that being said, I was thinking about holding a live event in Phoenix on one of these days during the conference, but the problem with that is AmFest is sold out. So if you're not already registered for AmFest, like you can't get into that. But I think I might put a poll out there to see how many of my viewership is in the greater Phoenix area. And if I were to have an offsite live meet and greet somewhere on one of these days during the conference, would you be interested in attending? I have a friend who has a studio in Phoenix, and he's offered me the opportunity, hey, if you want to come and do a live show and invite 50 or 100 of your closest friends from the internet, let me know. I got you. So I will put a poll out, and all you have to do, if you are in Phoenix, if I can get maybe 20 people, then I will probably do it. But anything, I don't know how many of you guys are in the Phoenix, Arizona area or would come, but I don't have a lot of time to plan this. So I think the best thing to do is to put a poll out. And then if you see the poll and you like, I don't live in Arizona, but I know someone that does, if you could send the poll to them and ask them to vote. And then we'll kind of just see where it goes. I'll put the poll here on YouTube, and then I'll also open up the poll on my Facebook page, and then we'll just go from there. Okay? So, okay. Mari MCGE, you are in Phoenix. Yay, that is great. Okay. Well, listen, please vote in the poll when you see it. I'll probably post it multiple times because I would love to do a live broadcast from my friend's studio. And it's enough space where we can fit 100 people in there easy. If I'm not mistaken. If I'm lying, I will go back, but I believe that's what he told me. So it pays to have amazing friends, and I'm excited. So, all right, you guys. With that said, I need to go eat. I'm in my calorie deficit, but technically I'm almost past my time to eat, and I got to get some protein in. So, I love you guys. Oh, before I go, sorry. Where are my manners? Where are my manners? If you attended last night's live stream, y'all, I was so engrossed in the content, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't leave anything out as we were talking about Jim Jones and Candace Owens. Y'all completely forgot. I didn't look at not nail one super chat. I didn't. And here's the thing. I really need a producer when I go live in the evenings because my mind is moving a mile a minute. If you've never run a live stream, it's one thing to run a live stream where you are actively, like, you guys are over here to my right, which looks like the left. For me to, I like engaging with an audience to where you feel like I'm talking directly to you. It is hard to do that when I got to look over here and the chat is going, and then there's another tab where the super chats are. I completely forgot. People called me like, get to your super chats, but the phone was on silent. And instead of it being face up where I can see it ring, I had it face down, both of them. And so I want to sincerely apologize to anyone who was on last night's live stream. I got to personally thank each of you because so many of you were so generous last night. And I don't take that for granted. You just got to run with the fact that I am old and absent minded. I really am. Y'all, I struggle to remember so many basic things that I am not as quick on my feet as I used to be. So I sincerely apologize. I wasn't being rude, I just forgot. And so I wanted to go back, and I'm going to acknowledge each and every last one of you because I am grateful for those super chats because they really do allow me to do the work that I'm doing here, to maintain the cost of producing this show. It is just, there's some sincere gratitude that is owed to people who dig deep because you don't have to do that. Like, YouTube is free. Now, the ads kind of suck, but YouTube is free. And so it says a lot when you're willing to say, hey, here's a little bit in your cup because I appreciate what you do. You deserve to be acknowledged. So I apologize for that. And I just want to say thank you. So, okay, I think that's it. I think I remembered everything. Did I miss anything else? I don't know. Have a debate on your show. What kind of debate? What kind of debate? So it depends on what you mean by that. Do you mean me debating someone else or bringing two individuals of opposing views on my show to debate? I don't know. I need more information to understand what you mean by that. I've never really thought about it. I have a vision for what I want this platform to be, and I don't know. I need to see if that's something the audience wants or if that even makes sense for me. You know what I mean? Girl, that perimenopause brain is, I'm out here fighting for my life. That's what it is. Absolutely. Thank you. See, that's my girl. We are here. We are struggling. We're going to get through this together. That's what it is. Memory is a straight mess. I go up and down these steps several times a day. Sometimes I will stand on the landing like, why am I going north right now? Why am I going up? What is up here that I need? I can't remember. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to just stand here until I figure out why I'm here. And sometimes it's 60 seconds, sometimes it's 30 seconds. But it's a struggle. And then I get mad at myself because I'm like, why can't I remember? Nothing happened between a second ago and now. Why can't I remember? So I feel you. It's a mess. I used to be so quick on my feet and my words, I could just spit them out. Honey, now I be grabbing for them words in the sky like, what's the word? I need a word, but I can't catch it. It's like it's out there, but it's like it's running from me. And I just be like, but come back. Come back. That's how bad it is. That is how bad it is. So I take ashwagandha. Girl, I'm on wild yam, ashwagandha, don't quai, black cohosh. What else am I taking? Girl, I'm taking a cocktail of plants and herbs and roots. Honey, listen. Ain't nobody got nothing on my whole supplement game right now. I'm fighting for my life. But I've only been on the wild yam. I know men are like, why we didn't want to be here for this. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. I've only been taking that group of the last few herbs. It's only been like 3-4 days. So it feels good to see people see me. The words be floating in the air, and I be like, I can't grab it. It's like they right there, and you can see them, and you just be like, what's that word? I can't. It's like it's gone, and then I just be like, well, hell, forget it. You just give up. You give up. It's bad. It is bad, y'all. If you are a man on this live stream, and there's a perimenopausal woman in your life, just love her. Please. I mean, it takes the grace of God for y'all to make it through this season, because we're out here fighting for our lives, and we know we making your lives a living hell. We know it. And we're not doing it on purpose. At least I'm not. I'm so aware of what's going on that I apologize to my family daily. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know I'm going back crazy right now. I know it. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Then I'll be like, can I have a hug? Can someone just hug me? And we all bring it in, and they rub in my back, and we just getting through it moment by moment. I'm telling you, if you are a man dealing, I wouldn't suggest dating one. Like starting a new relationship, you need to kind of already be in the thick of it with some time invested, because that's the only thing you're gonna be able to pull on to get yourself through. Be like, I knew her before this. She gonna come out on the other side. And I don't want my perimenopausal women who are single to be like, hey, you're ruining it for me. I'm not trying to. I'm just telling the truth of what they walking into. You know we crazy. You know you mad for no reason. Everything annoys you. You walking around here mean mugging, and ain't nobody do nothing to you. You know it. The first sign of just being able to work through it is you got to at least admit something is wrong. Something wrong. If I've been mean to you, I'm sorry. I repent. But we not well. Okay, we are not. We are not. Anyway, Oh, 500 to 1,000 milligrams of what a day? What, Candace? What you taking? What is it? I will try anything new. She said, and you can hear everyone's necks turning all at once. They like, "Hmm." And I'm just like, you are noise, odors, sounds. You are sensitive to everything. Everything annoys you. Everything. Everything. Thank you so much for that super chat, Joshua. I appreciate it. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. You are absolutely right. Um, it sucks. Our brains suck. The weight gain is trash. Y'all have never had a weight problem. And I'm just like, why am I so puffy? I'm just puffy. I can't describe it, but it's like a puff. It's it's like a girth that wasn't there before. And to people who don't know you, like, you look fine. You're like, no, I'm puffy. I'm puffy. I just feel it. My hands are puffy. Everything is puffy. And it's annoying. And you just like, why is this happening to me? And I know someone, we're the same age, and she just found out she is pregnant. I was like, Lord bless her. Y'all, can we stretch out our hands and pray? Children are a blessing from the Lord. But to be our age, about to be somebody mama again, I ain't no way I'd make it. I wouldn't make it. I just wouldn't. Mm-mm. The puff. I can't describe the puff, but it's puff. And it's puff in places that wasn't necessarily puffy before. Yeah, I do. I drink green tea every day, sometimes twice a day. So today I switched it up. I didn't do green tea. I did turmeric and moringa tea. But normally, first thing in the morning, I do my lemon water warm. I'll do some apple cider vinegar and my green tea. I think the problem for me is accepting the fact that I have to do all of this. It's like a whole routine. It's a darn near part-time job just trying to manage my wellness. I was like, why can't I just live and exist like before? But now you get to have a routine. You get to wake up. You got to have a nighttime routine to settle your brain so that you can sleep. Because Lord forbid, if you don't get no sleep, it makes you fat and cranky, and the hormones are already all messed up. But you can't sleep because you're sweating through your clothes and you're hot flashing all night long. And the insomnia, you just like, why do birds flap their wings? Like, you just Googling stupid stuff. I'm not in a good place. I'm just saying, okay? So, for all of you who are going through it with me, we will get through this together. And you know it's bad when I had to call my credit card company because Facebook had tried to charge my credit card for something back in June. This is how bad the memory is. Back in June. And you know when you don't verify if a transaction is yours or not, they froze my card. So I went to use it and I was like, wait a minute, hold on. I know that there's available balance on this card. I couldn't figure out what it was. And I kept forgetting to call about it. And I kept trying to use the card. And every time I would travel to use the card, I'd be like, oh, okay, I know why this is declined. Finally make the time to call the credit card company. And I'm asking her, I was like, okay, when I log in, I can clearly see I have this credit card has a zero balance. Why won't y'all let me use it? And she was like, well, Miss Chapman, back in June, Facebook tried to charge $11 on the card and we didn't know if it was you or not. So we blocked it. I was like, really? And she was like, well, was that you? I said, well, I was like, I don't know. I said, I can't remember. I was like, I can't remember that far back. So she started laughing and she said, listen, I understand. I'm going through perimenopause. I was like, you too? Why we talked on the phone for a whole 10 minutes like we grew up together? I don't know this woman from Adam. She was like, don't worry about it, Miss Chapman. I'm going to take care of this for you and I'm going to unfreeze your car because I know what you're going through and you don't need this kind of stress in your life. And this is a whole headache. I said, you sure enough right. I said, listen, she was like, I'm sweating right now as I type. I was like, you too. I was like, me too. I was like, we don't need this in our life. And we bonded in that one moment. I don't know this lady. Probably will never talk to her ever again. But when I call that bank again, I wish I could get her on the phone. She made my day just because she understood. She was like, I don't know why they expect us to remember stuff. I was like, me neither. I was like, June? I was like, that's like asking me what happened in 1942. I wasn't even born, wasn't there. That's how it's just gone. So don't take your memory for granted. Definitely start taking some B12 and some it's some broad spectrum stuff that we got to work on. I no longer rely on my memory because I already know it's going to fail me. It is absolutely going to fail me. And I used to have the memory of an elephant. I could remember back to when I was 2.5 years old when my sister got married. And I think I was 2. I was 3. I remember my sister's wedding because I was in it when I was 3. But don't ask me what happened last month. I don't know. I don't know. Was I there? Maybe. Maybe not. Who's to say? Who's to say? So, anyway, somebody said I am 68 and way past menopause. Aunt Flo doesn't visit me anymore, but she sure calls. What? Oh, no, just cancel the whole thing. Lord, just I ain't going 68. I ain't going through this at 68. We got to figure something out. There's got to be a stage of life I can skip, and this is it. I can't live like this till I'm almost 70. No, I cannot. No. Y'all, I had a whole meltdown yesterday in the kitchen because I was hot. I was trying to record a video, and halfway through the video, beads of sweat start falling down my face. And I'm trying to push through it and just get through the video. And I was like, I think I threw the keyboard. I was just like, threw the keyboard, got up. My husband was like, what's wrong? He's like, good gracious, why you sweating so hard? I was like, I'm suffering. I am suffering. And I understand that we are supposed to share in the suffering of our Lord, but I don't think it included this. It couldn't have. The sharing in the suffering of Christ could not have included menopause. Now, if you had said something like, they're going to put you in the middle of a coliseum and the wild beast going to come and rip you from limb to limb, I can wrap my mind around that. Menopause, I cannot. I can't. The metabolic endocrine problems with the hormones. Why is this happening? Now, granted, our modern lifestyle does not help any in the sense that we have a lot of endocrine disruptors in the water and the food we eat and our personal care products. But I'm like, good gracious. We out here suffering. And don't go to a doctor. They are useless. They're just like, what you want us to do? And I'm like, I could have came up here and blew up the whole place, shot up everybody. Is that what you want? So you're not going to help? Oh, okay. I see how this going to end up. Yeah, I'm sweating now. Y'all can't see it, but I'm sweating. I am.
Flag on the play.
Flag on the play. Hey, Brother Lamont, so good to see you. Absolutely, so good to see you. I'm so sorry we didn't get a chance to see each other at the Frederick Douglass conference, but I was there, but the days got all messed up. It was a mess. Listen. In the bright white snow, no less. I am so sorry, honey. I own so many nice winter coats, but I can't wear them. It's too hot for all of that. That's too much fabric. Too much fabric, too many clothes. Can't do it. Now my hands are cold. So is there a way to wear like a sleeveless coat that has gloves attached? Cause I need my arms out. But my hands get cold. My hands and my feet will get cold. But everything else dying. Anyway. Oh no, I normally have a fan near me, but Sometimes they move from room to room. Y'all, I recently bought these. These are some readers. I can't even see my own phone. Like I be like, woo. What does text message say? Like, God, this font is so small. So I bought these. I don't particularly like them, but if I'm gonna read text with some sort of comprehension, let me clean them. The thing I don't like about them is they get so dirty. But yeah, oh, I hate them. But it's a tool. It's a tool. So anyway, y'all, let me get up off this live stream. I'm out here talking straight crazy. Um, you're so kind. I might be glowing under the sweat, but I am absolutely sweating. I am. It's bad. I'm going to do a live stream one day. I'm going to bring on a specialist. Now, this might be a ladies only. No, this is not going to be a ladies only show. Let me explain to you guys why y'all need to be here. This is for your own good. When I do my show on perimenopause and the bat craziness that we are going through, it is not a show just for women, because men need a support group and they need it explained to them what we are going through, what is happening, how we didn't just wake up one day and decide to be crazy without absolving us of the personal responsibility, of course. But the men need to be present so that we can give some actionable tools to help you cope too. Because I don't want your whole home being broken up because she crazy and you like, deuces, I'm out. I don't want that. So the show is going to be for everybody, but I need to bring a specialist on so we can talk about what is happening with this estrogen dip that causes us to be crazy and hot, and you can't sleep and you're irritable. And I mean, there's like over 100 different memory loss, over 100 different symptoms that are just incredibly unpleasant. And your lack of focus, muscle loss, the puffiness. I told y'all about I just feel puffy. You just puffy. I remember when my mama got puffy. And I was looking at her like, why are you so puffy? How old was I? When my mom was going through menopause, I was in middle school. And I remember asking her why she was so puffy. I'm surprised she didn't pop me in the mouth, because I would have popped me in the mouth. I needed to be popped in the mouth for that. But you just puffy. So anyway, I'm going to go. I have no idea what I'm going to cover tomorrow. And I don't know. I have no idea what the rest of the week holds. We will see. If there's something in particular you want me to cover, leave it in the chat. Leave it in the comments of this video. A lot of you guys send me stuff all the time. There's so much going on. So whatever it is going to be good. But until next time, you guys, stand firm, stay bold, and above all else, stay unshakable. Grace and peace.